Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Bible study. Super excited about our coming together this evening. Today's Bible study, we're going to be speaking out of the book of Jeremiah. It's my last one. Okay, we're done with Jeremiah after this Bible study, but Jeremiah was packed with so much information and so much relevancy that I just didn't want to speed through it. We're speaking to chapter 50 today of the book of Jeremiah, verses 4 through 20, I believe. No, 4 through um, 11. And then we're going to skip down to verse 19 and go from 19 to 20, okay? So, super excited. Let's just invoke the Spirit of God in directing me in the discernment of His Word, and let's move forward. Heavenly Father, I come before you in love, looking for you throughout the many pages of this book. Use me as your vessel today in speaking your truth to the children. Lessen me and magnify you through me. Allow me to use all of my walks and my interpretations of my walks in this life amongst the children to evaluate your word and to ingest it, cross-reference it with all that I've gone through and all that I've seen many of us go through, and to deliver a thought-provoking, easy to understand, relevant reflection of your word to the children that they can utilize in their everyday lives. In love, I come before you, thanking you for all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you will always be. I love you so deeply. And in God's name I pray, amen. All right, y'all. So, awesome. Let's just get going. So I'm beginning reading from chapter 50. I'm looking to minimize this Bible study. So my goal now is I know I've been doing like hour-long Bible studies, but now I'm looking to maximize on the time and minimize them, okay? Because I feel like I'm getting a little better and I'm able to corral this to my will a little bit better than I have been. So, chapter 50, verse 4. In those days and in the time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Woo! And all that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, We offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north county, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as a heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. All right, we're going to skip over now to verse 19. And I will bring Israel again to the habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none. And the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserve. All right, y'all. That's all the reading I got, for now. But as I said, we are in a state where these children are lost. And because I'm so tired of speaking to the wanderings of these children and how they are in this perpetual state of transgression, they have lost so much footing that they don't know up from down. Everything has been mirrored upon them by all of the nations. And the nations know their transgressions better than them. Because prior to these verses, God has judged is in the act of judging all of the nations that have come upon the children. God is judging their enemies. So Israel is looking at this thing like, oh my God, we are in this covenant. We're locked into this covenant with God. We have transgressed. We don't even know what the covenant is anymore because honestly, the enemy has worked through us and through the other nations so much that we have forgotten what is important. We've forgotten the law that we are bound to. We don't even know our own law. We don't even know when we're making a mistake. We have no idea. I believe the children thought at some point or another that they were doing the righteous thing. I don't believe that the children outright went to transgress against God. It was that they took their eye off of God and began looking around at the other nations, and they became in awe of the creations of these nations. Because all the nations had was a creation that they could create with their mind and with their will. But these children, in all of their walks, in all of their fine tuning, because isn't that how it is when God is over you and walking closely with you? You are fine tuned. It is similar to when you look at I don't know what you call that, when you look at those two lions that emblem. Hopefully I'll get good at technology and I'll be able to post it. I'm going to post it on my page after this, of the two lions like in a circle, one going up, one going down. I had a vision of that. That's why I bring this up. I had a vision of those two lions and I was in the middle. One was on this side of me tight, and another was on this side of me tight. One going up, one going down. And they would go up and down, up and down. And in their movement, it kept me straight. It kept me straight. Kind of like a child when it is born into the world of light through the birth canal. The canal is so tight that it keeps the child straight. These two lions were so tight against me that they kept me straight, so that if I did decide to make a turn, the lion would know and it would pay attention. And because of the ferociousness of its nature, a lion is a cat. It can be kind and gentle, and then it has the nature of being very protective, and it will attack you. So when I moved in a certain way, it let me know that it knew that. And if it wasn't in the right direction, if I rubbed it in the wrong way, it would attack. That is the way of your walk with God. I'm coming with it today. That is the way of your walk with God. This Bible study has been a meditation for me for a while, but I just didn't know how it was going to present itself. God is like that. When God has his hand over you, friend, it's a tough love sequence. It is a tough love sequence. So just like those two lions that keep you going straight, it's a loving aspect. They're doing it because they love you and they know what's right for you. And they were programmed to do that. They won't allow you to ruin you. God, whoever's programmed those lions to move in that way had too much vested in you to allow you to ruin you. Same way with these children. These children wrestle with God. Just like Jacob wrestled with the angel. If Jacob did not wrestle with the angel, Jacob would not have been worthy to be the leader of Israel. It was through Jacob's wrestling that Jacob gained the worthiness. It is these children and their many walks in this life, the fine tuning, the tapping on the hand, the spankings they get, the timeout they got to do in the wilderness, the highs and the lows, the embarrassment of being ridiculed amongst the nations after being blessed so much and so mighty by God, and then being put in bondage by all the people that you overcame. And having these people mock you, and having these people look at you and laugh at you and ridicule you, and having them feel better about themselves because they see what they're doing to you. If it wasn't for them being able to ridicule the children, they wouldn't have felt so good about themselves. But because they knew the blessings that were on these children, them being able to put their foot on the necks of these children made them feel mighty. Had they not been able to do that, had they not had the ability to put their necks on these children and benefit from these children, they'd have felt like lower than a lizard. These children were the prize. Everything is about these children. Everything. And these children have fallen so low that they don't even know what's going on. They have no idea how to get out of it. They don't know which part of this is the wrong part. They don't know. You ever been there? You get so deep in something, you get so used to it. Barriers you put up to deal with life. Barriers you put up to interact with people so you feel mighty amongst people. You get so used to it that after a while you don't even know what part of you is aching. What do I need to release? Because you've built up so many different layers, so many buffers. That is these children. And these nations. God is speaking. Look, I chose this because it hit me. It came upon me the other day. And it speaks to God punishing the nations for their treatment of Israel. All the while, Israel is thinking that God is punishing them, in which God is. But God is after these nations, because the hand of God is over these children. It was matter of fact. God proclaimed it. All the nations knew it. The fallen ones know it. The fallen ones are the orchestrators of all this. They just work through the nations. They work through Israel's brothers and sisters. All of the nations are Israel's brethren and sistren. Yet they have made pacts with these fallen ones. They have forgotten the name of their fathers. Because these fallen ones are bound here. They have no choice. So they gotta make a way of getting their needs met. Or else this will be, what is already hell, will be even a worse hell. So they work through the people because they are wise. They are wise. They were wise from the beginning. That's why they were God's footmen in the earth. They did not lose the wisdom. Nowhere in the scripture does it say that the fallen ones lost their wisdom. Nowhere. It says that they lost aspects of their power. They couldn't go back home, and they were bound to this realm. It didn't say that they lost all of their power. It just said that it couldn't go no further than here. So of course they're going to make you feel like this is it. Because for them it is. Long story short, let me stick on track. So God says that he's going to punish all of them. And I'm going to read to you what he says. That, hold on here, you guys. So, he says here, I have it marked up. The Moabites, remember when I first began the Bible study, I spoke to the Moabites and how the Moabites was a league of different tribes, of different communities that were in close proximity to one another. Now remember, the Moabites were the ones that caused Israel to first transgress. They were the first ones to lay the snare. After Balaam and Balak went on the mountains, I know y'all tired of hearing that, but that's a very poignant topic because that leads to a lot of stuff going on right now. The Moabites were the first ones that sent the women they sent Balak or Balaam, I can't remember, to curse the children, but God wouldn't allow it. That should tell you something about the power of God, because these are people that were adversaries to Israel. What do they care? If God didn't have no power, friend, they wouldn't have went through God. So all of y'all out there thinking, oh, Christianity, or even if you don't want to call it Christianity, if you call it, oh, those Nazarenes or any or whatever you want to call those Jews, whatever you want to call it. If the God of these people did not have any power, these sorcerers, these witches, these people that bow to many gods wouldn't have ever asked permission. They wouldn't have done it. Yet they did. And I'm going to read to you. It says here in Jeremiah chapter 48, verse 11. Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and he hath settled on his lees, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel. Neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remaineth in him, and his scent is not changed. That's powerful on a lot of different levels, and I'm not going to get into all of them tonight. But this says that the initial strength, this is a really powerful verse. But just in regards to what I'm saying and their interaction with the children, they haven't taken any L's. Okay? After they made Israel transgress, they came up. They were blessed by Israel's transgression. They were blessed by the ability for them to go on those mountaintops along with Balaam and Balak, to go on those mountaintops and to get that pertinent information on Israel. That information that they got on the mountaintops blessed them. Remember, I told you that the Moabites is a community. It's a federation. So it's not just one group of people. All the people that these people had to travel through knew how to trip them up. So what did they do? They set snares and traps along the way, one after another, to try to trip these people up. And they did. It worked. You can look, if someone wants to trip you up, eventually, it will eventually manifest itself unless you're perfect. Who in life is not susceptible to mistakes? This was a covert plan against Israel by these people. And God is speaking to it. Because in the walks of these children, all of their transgressions and all that they went through allowed God to show his might. Both to the people and to children of Israel and to the people. So God is showing his might to the children and saying, these are the different aspects of me. You need to pay attention. I'm a loving and a benevolent God, but I'm also a mess. I'm a hot mess if you rub me the wrong way. You rub me the wrong way, you don't want to see me in that aspect. Look at what your forefathers have gone through. Haven't you heard about me? You could not even imagine my power. How many times have I said this in this Bible when God says they are of small power? And in order for God to show his strength, these children must go through these different trials. They gotta wrestle with God. They gotta be punished and then come back again and say, okay, forgive me for that. I learned my lesson in that. I'm ready for some more training. Because that is exactly what's going on. When you get to this, when we talk about why these children, why can't they just get it together? I have thought about this. I have wrestled with this, friend. I have wrestled with God. Y'all don't even want to get me to talking. Just like Jacob wrestled with the angel of God. This is a wrestle, but it's a respectful wrestle. It's a wrestle in humility, in the fact that you know that you will not win, but you will be acknowledged for having the heart and the courage and the love to keep coming at it. Because if you didn't love it, you would not wrestle with it. It's a science that is brilliant. But when you speak it to people that don't get it, they don't get it. It's over your head because it ain't for everybody. It's for action-oriented people only. You got to be about it. You got to be getting after it. I don't want to lower this to like a low level conversation. But you have to be getting after this to understand this. These children are trying this thing any and every way they can. They saying, okay, this God of Israel is tough. He's something else. Okay, we're gonna go over here and try this because these federations all around us are dangling these carrots at us and saying, come on over here, it's easier over here. So let's try it over here. Okay, fine. Now we tried it over here and we don't even know what the law of Moses is anymore. We've forgotten it. The enemy has infiltrated us and they done told us certain things were the law of Moses and they not. Just like today. Well, many of us are searching around for God while everything has been corrupted. Everything. Nothing, not one thing is in its original state. Everything has been regurgitated from this Bible study that I'm giving you right now. These are my perspectives on this book. You go to another station on YouTube or any other social media app, you'll get somebody else's perspective. You open this Bible up, this is somebody else's perspective of the Holy Scriptures. This book is not verbatim as to the way they found it in the caves of Qumran and various sources. And even then, that was regurgitated. So, all has been corrupted, causing everybody to wrestle that really want to know. And those that don't really want to know, they will just listen to the people that are out here wrestling. Nonetheless, God said unto the Moabites, you haven't lost anything. You have been blessed by, the only way that you have been blessed is because these children have transgressed. You are blessed because you stole. Your blessing is through thievery. You are a thieving group of people. You have capitalized on the disfranchisement of a people. You have capitalized on the theft of a people's culture, theft of the knowledge of a people's God, keeping them in a state of blindness. Because had you not, you'd have never overcame these people. Not by a long shot. So you had to get these people out of alignment so that I would not cover them. Verse 27. I'm sorry, verse 26. Okay, let me go back. Verse 25. The horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, saith the Lord. That's mighty too. That's mighty. The horn, listen to what I said. The horn of Moab is cut off. And his arm is broken. I'm not even going to go into that. But use your imagination on that, okay? Saith the Lord. Make ye him drunken, for he magnified himself against the Lord. He said, let him get drunk to pacify himself. That's the only way he's going to be able to get some happiness, is to be in a perpetual state of drunkenness, because he has come against my people. When you come against mine, you come against me. This is what God is saying. I have been telling you this all along. God takes it personal. And this God is a long road God who do not play about his people, who does not play about his people. Moab also shall wallow in his vomit. All that you ate abundantly of that wasn't yours, you're going to wallow in the regurgitation of it. The coming up of it. You're going to regurgitate. You're going to wallow in that. And he also shall be in derision. He's going to be besides himself. He's going to be separate. He's not going to be whole. It's going to make him doubt, fear, confusion, all of those levels of energy. For was not Israel a derision unto thee? Wasn't Israel a derision unto you? Didn't you see them doubt, fear, be confused because of all the traps you laid for them and that you found happiness in? Listen. Was he found amongst thieves? All of you have stolen from Israel, is what God is saying. All the stuff that you condemned and said was not worthy and you didn't think was all that great, and you don't know why the hand of God is on these people. Yet you looked upon them, and when you got them in a state of transgression, the first thing you did was took it and made it your own. That's what God is saying. For since thou spakest of him, thou skippest with joy. He's saying, you've broken my people, or you tried to. You had them in a state of confusion. A mighty people. To break Israel was a big deal. You ever seen a mighty man or a mighty woman confused? That you knew internally was solid, but they were just in a state of confusion on a situation or within a particular way. And the person that had them in that state of confusion was nowhere near as righteous or as holy as that person. In their walk, in the integrity of their heart and in the integrity of their walk, the discipline was just not comparable. But they're in a place of derision because something has come upon them that has made their footing not stable. But they're still showing the might of God. And then those people are looking at them and saying, look at these people. They think that they're all that. They're nothing. They're nothing. They're nothing. The only reason that they're something is because of that God that covers them. They're nothing. Yep, there are brothers and sisters. They all came off of the boat with Noah and the rest of them. But we've made different decisions, and we got to stand in our decisions. And they chose to make different decisions. And God is the only reason why they are overcoming. Let's set traps for them to make them transgress. And they do it, and now they're broken and unstable. But they're still strong and mighty, and they're still making activities in the earth abundantly. All that they do is still blessed. So much so that in their brokenness, they're still offering blessings to the world. And the people that have capitalized on their derision have taken their blessings as if they're nothing and made them their own. That's what you call a thief. A thief. And this is what God is speaking to. And he's saying, ever since you've spoken of my people, you've been happy. Ever since you've spoken of them in this state that they are in, this mess that they're in, you have been happy and proud. You wasn't proud and happy of these people when they were in alignment with me and working as a unit. You were afraid of them. You came upon them to try to find areas and cracks within them that you could trip them up and curse them by. And because I wouldn't let you do it, you used the information to create scenarios to make them curse themselves. And once they cursed themselves, you stood by and capitalized off of it and laughed and was happy. The only time you've been happy is because It has been when these people have fallen. That is what God is saying here. That is exactly what God is saying. But God also said in verse 46, chapter 46, verse 27, but fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and not be dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee from afar off. Hallelujah. And thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. Look, this fear thing, we got to get a handle on it. I wrestled with fear my whole life. If it wasn't one thing, it was another I was wrestling with. Fear slowed me down. It was the fear that slowed me down. Fear will stop you in your tracks. But when you read this book, and you read the law, and you listen to all of the commandments of God, out of all that I have read, none have I read more than God saying, do not be afraid. Do not fear them. Do not fear. Do not be afraid. Be courageous. I can't count how many times I have read it. God has said that more times than he said anything else in this book. Stay close to me. Do not fear. Be courageous. Let's go to verse 28. Fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, saith the Lord, for I am with thee. For I will make a full end of all the nations whither I have driven thee, but I will not make a full end of thee. Hallelujah. Hello. Hello, somebody. But correct thee in measure, increments, at instances. Yet will I not leave thee wholly unpunished. I will correct you in measure. I have to, because I need you to know who I am. I need you to know as much as you can about me through activity. The only way you're going to know God is through activity, friend. You do not know God by reading this book and sitting up and that's it. You got to go out in life and get after certain things and then cross-reference those experiences with this book. You have to have situations in life that are confrontational. You got to get to a place where you say no. And then you got to get to a place where you say okay. And then you got to get to a place where you realize that saying okay, you lessen your might, and you really should have said no. And all of that kind of stuff, you still got to walk through and cross-reference with what you know of God. And you got to watch how God moves in those situations. God, this book of Jeremiah has shown me more than anything that God is not here to reprimand these children. This God is here to show these children his many aspects through a tough love scenario. Because when spirit moves, friend, it's a tough love. It's not all, give me a hug. I'm going to put you under the juniper tree all your life. And you're just going to stay there. And I'm going to have an angel come and feed you every day. And you're going to be fine. That ain't how it goes. You got to walk through the valley by yourself. You got to know what it feels like. Those are the places you find God. You have to wrestle with God. Just like Jacob. You got to go from pillar to post. Just like Joseph. And keep your faith and your courage up through it all. And the only way you do that is by aligning closer and closer to God. Not aligning on people, not caring what people talking about. It's okay to care what people talk about at times, friends. Sometimes I care what people say and what I want to know what people have to say. I'd be a foolish woman if I just walked life's path and didn't pay attention to what people said or what they were doing or what was going on around me. I'd be a dummy. But if you let people tell you, you're not supposed to pay attention. No, I need to know. Because the God in me wants me to do that so that I can reference it to the God in me. And I know how to maneuver. There is no perfection in this. There is just wisdom through activity. And a lot of the activities that we go through are not fanciful. They're not glorious. They're heartbreaking. They're frightening. Embarrassing at times. But we got to go through them. It's the only way we're going to get through life. Go through them in alignment with God. Learn what it's like to wrestle with keeping in alignment with God. That is the gist of this. So when you see these children transgressing and in and out, and they know supposedly the law, use your mind in today's sense. Do you know the law? Are you for sure you know the law of God? Are you? You got everything on this? Do you put that on everything? That you know everything that you need to know about God and that you're standing in the totality of God's law? Are you sure about that? Because these children had the same situation at hand. Can't convince me that they wanted to live the way that they lived out in transgression to God. Because I don't believe we want to live the way we live now in transgression to God. We are a confused group of people. Where did I find it? And I'm going to end it at that. Father, show me. What did I do with that? Verse 11, chapter 50. I'm going to read it again. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of my heritage, because ye are grown fat as a heifer at grass, and as bellows as bulls. That's what he said. You were glad to see my children led astray. Led astray. My people, verse 6, my people have been lost sheep. They're shepherds. Verse 6, chapter 50. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. Just like Joseph, they done went from pillar to post. They went from mountain to hill to valley. How do you go from mountain to hill without crossing a valley? That's why I say whoever wrote this book was a magnificent individual. I must say. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. They have forgotten the name of their father. They forgot the name of their mother. And all of them that do it are of the same family. Yet they are being worked through by others that are not of this family, that are bound to a whole set of different rules. Their inheritance is separate from the children's. Oh, I can go on, and I'm not going to do that. This is my Bible study today. We are all truly in this thing together. None is greater than another. I don't care, like I said, what your tax bracket is. I don't care how great you look. I don't care how popular you are. We're all neck to neck. All of it is vanity. It gets you nowhere at the end of the day. If anything, it'll slow you up from what you really need to be focusing on. All that popularity, all that vanity, all that stuff is nothing but a mesmerizing activity that leads you further and further from what you should be getting in this life because you're putting all your attention on that. Not to say that it's not worthy and it's not, good to look nice and all. It's all good. But what is it doing for you spiritually? Would you feel less in yourself without it? Would you? I want to end it on this. I had a really nice car not too long ago, and I let it go. I got rid of it, and I went back to what my norm is. Right? I went back to um, just the normal way of my life, the just regular girl kind of thing. No high end, no glamour, no, you don't pull up next to me and look at me and think that my life is a particular way. Because I remember when I had the car, people would pull up on me and think, oh wow, she must be this and that. And I'm just like you. And it's not that, me coming out of that car and getting back to my normal car that I had for my years and years and years and years that I had while I had other cars. It wasn't me getting back to that car that made me come to this point. Because even when I was in the car, I would think, wow, this car it's nice, but sometimes you want to be incognito. I'm a low key kind of girl. I'm not a flashy person. I've done that. But now at this stage of my life, I'm low key. And there's power in that. Because coming from that car and going back to a normal car, people assume things. Oh, she must be this, or oh, this must have happened, and oh, she must be going through that. And when all of those scenarios could be true in whatever way, I might just be happier. I have found happiness in the regular places, friend. Gone are the days when I want to pull up and stun on somebody. I don't know if it's maturity or what, because there was a time in my life that I got off on that. Not really, but I did spend time in that competitive place. But I'm really not even there. And I'm saying that to say, we got to get to a place where we start doing stuff because it matters. Not because we want to project an image or because we want to fit in with some people. Because believe me, friend, that image will go and then people will go. God will sift your life so much that God will sift them people right out of your life. And they will be people that you knew would eventually sift out. A lot of you are surrounding yourself with people that admire you because you like to share the same interests. Maybe you guys like to go out and you guys look nice and you guys like the same kind of stuff. But it's that internal conflict, low key, that never really shows itself because you don't let it get there, because you guys want to keep the friendship going. But for whatever reason, but eventually as you progress in life, them people gonna sift out regardless, friend. And you're gonna be in a place of power or you're gonna be in a place of powerlessness. And it all depends on what you do with yourself in those times that you are with those people. Do you invest all of your resources and time in a projection, or do you invest your resources and time in strengthening yourself internally? These are the things that matter, because all of that other stuff goes away. I'm telling you, all of it. You can still live a happy and abundant life, but all of that other stuff falls off, friend. And now you're left with the lean stuff, the stuff that really matters. And are you happy with the lean stuff? Have you become happy with that? Or do you feel shunned and denied and friendless? I'm here to tell you that if you get happy with the lean stuff is the best part of life. I'm here to tell you, it's popping with the lean stuff. It really is. The fatness is great, but the fatness is great when you got the people that are able to stand with you in your lean times with you, and you're able to distinguish between them. Same way with these children. These children are in some lean times. yet they have the love of God over them, promises that are irrevocable.